looking at these comments here from the great Jerry West, the frustration is there in regards to Kawhi and PG. And you can, read these comments here on Clutch Points. And then, you can also maybe check out the video on YouTube as well and listen to the frustration in Jerry West's voice. And, when he speaks on this topic, he basically says what you see, the Clippers had two opportunities to win a championship, but injuries came in the way. And, he said in all his years of basketball, he never seen anything like this in regards to injuries. And, it's like a jinx or something like that is on the team. And he goes in further and speaks about that as he goes on. And then he says, in regards to Kawhi, like looking at Kawhi's body, how strong he is and everything like that. How does he even get hurt? You see what I'm saying? How does he even get injured, or something like that? But that's just a part of the game, what I'm saying? And it's a part of the game that we as fans don't like. And he is a fan himself. He used to be a former player back in the day. Actually, he's the logo of the NBA still. So that tells you how great of a player he was back in his time. And, he's been a great recruiter. He's always brought valuable pieces, to the Clippers since he's been there. And when he was on the Lakers, as a GM or, working in the Lakers operations, he brought valuable players there too. And, won championships and things like that, which a lot of people believe he can do the same with the Clippers if the Clippers can stay healthy enough to, go after a championship. And really the pieces that he bought, that he brought to this team, even before Russell Westbrook, I thought they were good enough to win a championship myself. Because all the depth and stuff that the Clippers have, it'd be hard to beat them in a 7-game series if they had one of their superstars, let alone if they had Kawhi and PG. I don't really know any team in the West that will really be able to contend with them. I mean, you could say Denver Nuggets, of course, because they won the championship, and Nikola Jokic is, unstoppable. But at the same time, a lot of people forget the Clippers did have a 3-1 lead on the Denver Nuggets. They just took them lightly and they didn't make no adjustments because Doc Rivers is a trash head coach. And, if Ty Lue doesn't learn to make adjustments within his game plan, he'll become the same thing, a trash head coach. Because, like I said, he's praised a lot for what he did with the Clippers without a superstars. But at the same time, he has a lot of coaching tendencies like Doc Rivers, which can get his teams bitten in a playoff series that a lot of people might not be seeing. And that's just one of those situations, because when you look at it, the Clippers were down 0-2 against a Dallas Mavericks team a couple seasons ago, lost the first 2 home games and had to come back miraculously and do some, hero type shit, what I'm saying, which really shouldn't even have had to happen when you got a Kawhi and a PG on the floor, which a lot of people's not looking at that. If Ty Lue's coaching is going to be looked at the highest level, in which I give him respect myself because he did a lot with, a bunch of pieces when Kawhi and PG were out about a couple years ago. And he's done a lot, this past season, with working with what he had and things like that. But when he has had his superstars on the floor, they still struggled. And that's the thing, you got to look at that with Ty Lue. And I think that's what the Clippers are looking at, weighing in his situation in regards to his new contract that he's looking for. So, I mean, a lot goes into that there, but, listening to the great Jerry West on this topic, him basically saying, it's unreal. What I'm saying? He said Kawhi works his butt off. He can't believe Kawhi got hurt, and he also says, seeing two players like, Paul George and Kawhi, in which he's actually was on Paul George's podcast speaking about this, saying that both players missing half the season and then injuries come before the playoffs. He said it's just basically saying it's very disappointing and it's very surreal, like unreal, kind of for that to happen when everything is put in place for this team to win. And, his comment where he said, it just wasn't basically like meant to be. The big man upstairs didn't, allow the Clippers to win a championship. And, when he talks about the jinx, that goes back to us talking about a curse, on the Clippers, which is one thing a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of media people always have, put out there about the Clippers. Is it a cursed organization? I personally don't believe in that type stuff. I just believe that, things haven't just went the Clippers' way in regards to having the luck you need and the opportunity you need to win a championship, and that's just the way I see it, but you could look at it however you choose to, a curse or whatever the case may be, because at this point, it might be not a bad idea to look at it that way based upon all the years of suffering that Clippers fans have suffered, because you've had superstars, you've had, high level players, you had the teams that can challenge teams or compete for a championship, just hasn't, come to fruition in that way. And I understand the frustration there, but as Clippers fans, you got to realize, if you throw away Kawhi Leonard, if you just say throw away PG and trade them and all these things, you're still right back in the same predicament you were in years ago before Kawhi and PG came there, which was a team with a bunch of talent, and somehow no championship came out of it. And now you're looking at a team like Denver, who won their first championship. Now Clippers fans should be thinking, well, dang, that could have been us, or that should have been us, or something like that. And I definitely understand that, because when you look at it from that standpoint, it's true. That definitely could have been the Clippers, because they had opportunities, just injuries came in their way, and it didn't allow them to get, climb that ladder to get to the top. And it's just one of those unfortunate situations, because you got all the pieces you need. I personally think the Clippers just really need to keep all the pieces they have, besides maybe trade somebody like Marcus Morris, who isn't carrying his weight anymore. And if you found another big man out there that's better than Zubac, then you can go after him as well, and maybe keep my, Mason Plumlee as a backup or something like that. But even still, they pretty much have the team they need. Now, I will say also that point guard situation is very heavy. I would like to see the Clippers go after Fred VanVleet, as you heard me talk about. That would be a great addition to the team as well. But on the other hand, like I said, the team is still stacked with a lot of great players. A lot of good players and two great players. And what Jerry West said is spot on. It's basically no reason why this team shouldn't have won a championship. It's just the fact that they can't stay healthy. The two stars can't stay healthy to sustain what this team's greatness could be in regards to the outcome of how their season can end, which should be ending in a championship in a lot of people's eyes, but it doesn't, because Kawhi and PG just miss so many games and miss so much time, and time can't be made up for with just a couple of months or a month or two left in the regular season, and you're trying to push and coast to the end of the season so you can at least get into the playoffs and see what happens. You got to build that chemistry. That continuity has to be there, because when you look at the Clippers in a lot of situations, they clearly have the better team in some situations, or situations that you've seen in the past, a la against the Mavericks in the two playoff series they played against the Mavericks. They clearly had the better team, but the Mavericks was getting the best of them because they don't have that chemistry that they need to overcome teams that really shouldn't even be on the floor with them. And when you don't have that, you're making the road to the championship a whole lot more harder than what it should be. And based upon everything we've seen so far, it's been a hard road. It's been a tough one, and it's been an injury-filled one for the Clippers. So now you just got to hope that going into next season, Jerry West and the front office, decide to keep their two players, which I believe they will, not unless they, find some deal that can really, really, bring them somebody, exponentially better, which I don't think that's going to happen. Only person out there I see that might can change the narrative of the Clippers if a trade came would be Damian Lillard, for one of the star players on the Clippers. But even still, it doesn't guarantee it's going to make things better, because Damian Lillard, has been getting hurt the last couple seasons itself. So, what do you have there? It's just kind of like the same situation. You might be in the same situation that you're already in. So, I'm not saying that, Damian Lillard would get hurt if he came to the Clippers, but it's possible. So, you can't rule anything out. But I personally think that as far as the two superstar players, Kawhi, PG, they're going to run it back on the Clippers in at least one more season and see where it goes. And then their decisions will be made from there, and see how it all unfolds for them. But as I said before, in many other videos, leave any comments in the comment section. You let me know what you think about it, and we can definitely discuss it.